Hello, what's good, people? I'm your host, Reppin' 716. Thanks for tuning in. We're just keeping it real over here. An interesting perspective from the little guys, the ones that wasn't supposed to make it, the unfortunates. If you're a fan of this show, you can support me. My Cash App is Reppin' 716. You can also contact me at reppin716@gmail.com. This is the Slaya-Hater podcast. The Slaya-Hater podcast. That's what I'm launching today. My social media is on the way, mainly YouTube and IG. This is my maiden voyage, my first trip, because we are captains of our own ships. We're just going to be discussing a lot of issues going on in this Western society, America, the U.S., where I was born. We're just going to be tackling news, history, relationships, economics, politics. Nothing is safe on this platform, basically, as far as discussion. And we're just trying to unravel the matrix for our youth. And I also like to laugh and have fun with this stuff, because you can't make this stuff up. But yes, welcome to the Slaya-Hater podcast. And obviously you can tell by the name, we trying to slay all the haters, man. We trying to slay the hate and replace it with knowledge, fun, laughter, and just like I said, discuss things from the little guy's perspective, the unfortunates, the one that wasn't supposed to make it. That's all. So, the Slaya-Hater podcast, that's what we doing right now. And we're just going to try to build this thing. And like I said, we're just trying to basically slay ignorance. Slaya-Hater, basically we're trying to slay all the ignorance. Slay the haters that's, always hating on the little guys or whatever. And just basically just expose everything, that's going on over here in the Matrix. And, like I said, man, try to have a little fun with it. Tackle all these issues, man. There's a lot going on over here. This stuff is like therapeutic for me, because I'm going through it right now. I go through issues, that's how life is, man. You might have a calm, it's like sailing a ship, man. I had some calm seas, and then you hit those storms, and if you're a good captain, you can navigate through them, you don't let it sink the ship, so that's what I'm trying to do, man. Just tackle these different storms, man, and get through them and bring some knowledge to what's going on, man. But like I said, it's the Slaya-Hater podcast, where we slaying hate, we slaying all the haters, and we're replacing it with knowledge, man. You know what I'm saying? That way we can know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining me. And if you want to support me, like I said, my Cash App, Reppin716. And my Gmail is the same thing, Reppin716@gmail.com. So the first issue today, man, we're going to try to contact. The first issue we're going to try to discuss today, you know what I mean? Just get right to it, Start this thing off how it's supposed to be started off on the Slaya-Hater podcast. Episode 1 is one of the biggest things that's wrong with over here in the Western society, man, really with the world, but I'm coming from the West America, one of the biggest problems, I'm saying, that we have over here, and people is, not really, nowadays it's basically, nobody wants to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it, because that's what we do on my channel, the problem with racism, okay? Racism is a big institution over here. It was a foundation, It was how this country was built. You know what I mean? And of course we've made a lot of progress, We've made a lot of advancements, We've come a long way. But, it hasn't been totally eliminated, and it's kind of lingers in almost everything that goes on over here, They they say like American Pie. You know what I mean? I guess it's just is almost in everything, everywhere we turn over here. You know what I mean? Especially as a, you know, and like I said, I'm coming from a you know, African American male perspective. So the problem with racism is basically, you know, it was founded on obviously slavery. You know what I mean? Western slavery. You know, so the main problem with racism is that it was based on Western slavery. And anybody who don't know, Western slavery, it was a business model. You know what I mean? That's basically what it was. It was a business model. It wasn't nothing that you know what I mean, that was real, like tangible. It's a business model. You know what I'm saying? And it was based on labor and lies. Free labor and lies. You feel what I'm saying? Free labor extraction and free lies and propaganda promotion. Basically, that's what happened. You know what I mean? It was, you know what I'm saying? If anybody who want to get further on this, you can look up my good brother Tim Wise. He's a white dude, and he'll break it down way perfectly. You know, way perfect how basically what went on. My brother Tim Wise. But you know, it was basically just a business proposition. It was a business model. You know, basically the rich. This country obviously was, when it was founded by the rich white people. You know what I mean? But it wasn't all the white people over here weren't rich. You know what I mean? You had a lot of them that were poor, that were indentured servants. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So you know, the rich white people. You know what I'm saying? They were not put like this, the majority. The majority of this country, when it first was founded, you had a lot of poor whites, indentured servants, you know, people coming over here looking for better lives, you know what I'm saying? They weren't rich. And obviously you had you know, the rich white people, they had to, in order to make their money, they needed labor. You know what I'm saying? They needed somebody to pick that cotton, you know what I mean? To pick that corn, you know, to you know, all these plantations and all this stuff like that. They needed people to work them because they weren't going to work them. You feel me? So, you know, they needed labor. They needed free labor. So, what they had to do, they looked around, they seen the numbers. Like, okay, it was a lot of poor whites. And there was a lot of, you know, a lot of African Americans. You know what I'm saying? That were indentured as well. Before the shadow slavery, even African Americans were indentured. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you do your little time, you work, and then you free. So you had a lot of poor whites and poor blacks. And what used to happen is they used to eventually, you know what I'm saying, when they see what was going on, they used to team up, you know what I mean, and rebel against the rich whites. You know what I mean? They used to team up, rebel against the rich whites. Okay? And you know, obviously the rich whites, they looked around, they said, you know what, we gotta do something about this. So they created race. You know what I mean? They had to create race. They had to create it because prior to this, if you look back, you know what I mean, there was no such thing as racism prior to the 1600s, you know. People were just who they were, either European, Irish, Russian, you know, German, you know. It was just, you know, you were who they were. There was no one white race, you know. So they had to create a lie, basically a divide and conquer move. Long story short, divide and conquer move. Okay, to get the free labor and also to protect themselves. And so like I said, free labor extraction, free lies, propaganda, and also to protect, you know, the rich white people's interests. And if you want to look a movie that will break it down for you that I loved was Free State of Jones. If you never saw that movie, check that movie out. Free State of Jones. It shows the story of how the poor whites, like, they really wasn't, like, you know, We didn't have no slaves, so why would we want to get involved in a civil war? So they had to use different means, you know what I'm saying? And so they had to set up a lie, okay? If you know anything about a lie is just a table to set BS on top of. A lie is a table to set crap on top of. Fear, doubt, confusion, deception. You know, in order to do that, you have to create a lie, right? So in order to get free labor out of the Africans, who are fellow humans of many hues on this planet, you have to degrade and dehumanize them. So the lie that was told is that they're animals, less than human. See, with production, people are earning, they're getting paid, compensated, rewarded for their output, for their labor. People are generally happy and able to provide, take care of their families and of themselves if they're single. See, with slavery and labor abstraction, people are not getting paid. People are not getting paid. They're being exploited. They're being unrewarded, uncompensated for their work. So if you reduce someone to an animal like a horse or an ox or a mule or a pig, livestock, then you don't have to pay them. You just have to maintain their physical existence. So the lie that was told about Africans is that they used to set the BS on, set their crap on, is that we were animals. But it was a bold-faced lie, obviously. If we were animals, then you wouldn't have to be worried about us learning how to read. You see what I'm saying? Animals can't read, right or wrong. If your dog or cat or your mouse or your whatever could read, you'd be shocked, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it might benefit you. You might be happy. They can take care of themselves. They can feed themselves. They can do all this stuff, But somebody may look at you like you have mental illness if you said, yeah, my animals can read. So just that fact proves right there that they knew that, we were human, you know what I mean? Because if you're worried about me learning how to read, then you know that I'm human. So, and like I said, that was the big lie that they set everything on, to set everything up, that we were animals. And then from there, everything else that came with that, So the problem with racism is that it's based on a lie, it's based on a business model. And unfortunately, though, that was the foundation of this country. And it still lingers today, and it still has problems today lingering from that. So, but the main problem with it is that it's a lie. It was based on a lie. African Americans are not animals. It was a business model that the rich whites used. And like I said, if you don't believe me, look up my good buddy Tim Wise. Watch the movie The Free State of Jones, and it'll basically let you know what was going on. And that, so basically when we say the country was founded on a lie, that's basically what happened, But I understand, I ain't gonna say I understand. Part of me understands, like I said, you come into a new country, you're trying to get it settled, you're trying to, build and, stuff like that. So, I guess they figured they did what they had to do. Ain't that a hood phrase we hear all the time? Oh man, I'm just gonna do what I gotta do. Well, the founders of this country, they did what they had to do. So the problem is that, the system was never dismantled, and it was actually used, for 400-500 years, even up to today, and we still suffer the effects of it. So that's the problem with racism, is that it's based upon a false narrative. And until we conquer it, until we eliminate it altogether, then we're still going to have these problems and things like that. So that's my maiden voyage, just my maiden episode. The problem with racism is that it was a lie. So thanks for listening. Thanks for, hopefully you want to support me. Cash App is reppin716. Also, my Gmail, reppin716. And we're going to be coming with much more content, much more truth. And this is just the first one that I had to get out of me, because this is the main, the main BS that's on the table, the main table that has to be knocked over, People say when Jesus, they say he used to knock over tables and stuff like that. A lot of it is probably parables. You have to knock over these tables of lies, these tables of ignorance. Sometimes that's what you got to do, and that's what he did. So that's what I'm doing today. All right, so you guys have a good one. Like, comment, subscribe, and definitely trying to keep this thing going. More interesting topics. But this is just the maiden voyage, because we're all captains of our own ship. This is the Slaya-Hater podcast. The Slaya-Hater podcast. So hopefully you guys like it, can appreciate it. And like I said, we're just trying to slay all the lies, slay all the BS. That's all we're trying to do. Slay ignorance. All right? All right, you guys have a good one. All right, thanks.